Zoe,
Don't do it.
I read an article on Reddit. Heard of it?
Yep.
And they were doing worst first dates.
Ooh.
I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
Okay.
Can I give you the top example
Yes.
on Reddit?
Yes.
This dude took a lady out
Mm-hmm.
and for seafood, and she ordered food to go for her son and her cousin.
No.
Her dish of choice was shrimp and lobster.
Okay.
So when the bill came, this guy paid for his, and he just left her to pay for the rest of it.
Well, that's smart. Why would you order on a date? Like, that's
Dude.
so fucked up.
Back up the truck real quick, Soy. On the first date. On the first date,
That's crazy.
you say, "Can I get
any
some?"
date, unless this person is like also emotionally invested in your cousin and your child.
Yeah, this person barely knows you. Why are they feeding your family?
No.
Am I right?
It's like that's if I brought my whole family out to our first date.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think our relationship would be different now if you did that?
I think you would have found it very weird and would have been like,
When did I meet your family? How far afterwards did I meet your family?
a while. It wasn't. You met my sister.
You ever see that Ben Stiller movie, Meet Your Family?
You met Violta fairly quickly.
Uh-huh.
But the rest of them, you didn't meet for a little while.
Well, there's so many. You gotta space them out.
Yeah.
Do you have a worst first date story, or do you want me to go?
You go.
Okay. There was this girl who was a little bit younger than me that I knew in high school, but she was always going out with someone in high school, or I was always going out with someone. But I wanted to date her because she was on the soccer team and she had big boobs. And
Dumps like a truck.
dumps like a truck. That's not what boobs is.
And I felt the need to say it. So
Stratford
What?
wasn't a boobs. Stratford wasn't a butt town.
no, yeah, all the girls had boobs from Stratford.
Yeah, I remembered there was one girl who had a butt, two girls who had a butt, and that was it. Like when J-Lo came out, we're like, oh, J-Lo's like Stephanie.
Yeah.
But there was no one else to compare it to. We
Yeah.
didn't even notice that girls had butts.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, everybody poops from their back or their legs. But everybody had boobs. So there's
Guess what?
one girl.
Most guys from Stratford don't have butts either.
Well, most, but I'd like to say that I'm the exception to the
No.
rule, little baby.
No, you're not. Hey.
I was dancing. So all throughout high school and all throughout college, I think we never went out. And then I was home after college and I saw her and we were both single and I asked her out finally. And I was like, oh, finally I'm going to date this girl. I'm going to see if I could date this girl because we've never even, whatever, it was never an option.
We've never crossed paths until now.
Well, we did cross paths 1,000 times, but not in a romantic
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
So I was like, I wonder what she's even like in a scenario like that. And we went out and we went to a Starbucks, and all she did the whole time was talk about how she fucked cops
Oh no.
and hockey players
No.
on our first date. And we're getting coffee.
And
she's
you're
like,
neither
"Hey,
one of those.
I'm neither one of those. I'm so far away from both of those.
So as soon as she started saying that, you were like, well, I'm not getting effed.
Well, not even like that. I was just like, I was more into, this is the day I came up with my I'll never date someone 23 or younger rule.
Yeah.
And she was like, she was 23. She had just turned 23, I think. And she was talking about how regardless of I'll have sex with you if you've had sex with cops or professional athletes.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine. I was on my way to being a professional athlete, little baby girl. Junior Olympic pitcher, baseball pitcher. You didn't know me in those days,
No,
but
I
I was
did not.
something to see like a rock.
Oh, Jesus.
Like the rock.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking it was weird as shit that we were on our first date after all this time, and all she was doing was talking about how desired she is by other people.
Yeah.
And I was like, how
ugly does that make you right now?
No. I didn't think about maybe we're on completely different wavelengths. We're usually on the same page.
Yeah.
I was like, how insecure are you around me to keep talking about how desirable you are on a first date?
Yeah.
Dude, my confidence level, I was at all-time high.
Yeah.
Okay? I was in my, I don't even need anyone right now because I'm going to be a goddamn rock star phase in my life. Thank you for joining the conversation. I was talking to my iPad. So I was like, oh, this sucks that she's like this. And then we never went out ever again.
Yeah. I mean, I went out once. This was the do not date your clients rule. This is when this happened. Cousins. That's weird.
I honestly thought that sentence was going to end with cousins.
Nope. So there was this kid whose hair I used to cut all the time. His family was actually, they had a really big business in Stratford, Connecticut, and they were all Shelton kids. And it was while I was still working at my very first hair job, and he would come in and I would cut his hair, and he'd be like, well, what are you doing this weekend? Why don't you let me take you out? Let me take you out. Let me take you out. And like, he wouldn't stop. And I had already said that like dating clients was always kind of like off limits for me.
Yeah.
But finally I said, you know what? I was like, all right, let's go out on a date. So he picked me up at my house and we decided that we were going to go grab ice cream. So we go get ice cream and then we ended up going to Fairfield Beach. And he started getting like super handsy. And I was like, oh yeah, no. I was like, that's not happening, you know?
It's like, I'm lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
We're racing against the clock.
And
right
then
now.
Of course, being at the beach, and then the sand fleas at night always like started to like, you know, they bite you.
Oh,
they
you're
bite you.
on the
Like,
beach.
yeah. So I'm like, no. I'm cool. And he ended up like, he's like, fine, let's go. Fine.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. You can take me home. So it was like kind of awkward and quiet. And this was also I'll meet you out. No one's coming to pick me up.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have a way out.
Yeah.
When you say I'll meet you out, you always got your car.
Right.
You always got way out.
You always got a way out and a way home.
Way home.
So,
you don't have to rely on the aggressive,
sexually
it was
like,
frustrated guy to bring you to your house.
Yeah. So it was like still super awkward. We were still like 5 minutes away, which is like 2 miles from my house, right? And he's like, you know what? Get out.
What?
And I go, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, get out of my car. And I was like, oh, fuck you very much. Now, mind you, it was late because we didn't meet until like 9 o'clock. So at that point, it's like 11 o'clock. And then I have to like walk home.
Yeah.
Don't have a phone because that wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
You know? Or I had just had a phone and I
But you didn't have anyone's number stored.
dude, it was like such a weird thing. And then I finally somehow, so I ended up going to a friend's house, which was like a quarter mile away, a half mile away. And I like knocked on his bedroom window and I was so upset. I was more mad than I was like sad about it. And I was like crying because I was so pissed off. And he's like, what the fuck happened? And I was like, this fucking asshole. And he was like, I'm gonna fucking kick his ass.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
the response. That's the friendship response.
He's like, if I ever see him, I'm gonna kick his ass.
Yeah.
And then I called my sister, and my sister came and picked me up and drove me home.
Yeah. Little update on that guy. He fell off a cliff.
Yeah, very, very crazy.
That's what happens to you if you're like that.
Bad first dates.
Yikes.
That and the guy
Yours
that I
was
told
worse.
the story about going to the baseball game.
That was a first date.
That was the first date.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, dog.
2 bad first dates.
Sorry, dog.
That's okay. I'm sure there were more, but
Did we already tell both these stories?
no,
How did we get into the first date thing last time?
I don't remember.
Somebody ask us this question once
Maybe.
once an episode. We just keep answering.
Yeah, maybe.